Right friends, welcome back to Banking Awareness. This is lecture module number 12, a snapshot into banking operations, and we are going to deliberate in this lecture on non-performing assets, then CDR mechanism. CDR is nothing but corporate debt restructuring. What is the meaning of debt recovery tribunals and asset reconstruction companies which were established subsequent to SARFAESI Act. And we are going to deliberate on these issues in module number 12, right. So, look at this first slide now. I explained you several times. So, we deposit money in the bank and subsequently part of it is to be kept as per the monetary policy. You have to keep CRR and SLR, and if you subtract that, the remaining money can be given as loans and advances. Not only that, they can make some investments also, either in money market or in capital market. They can purchase some shares, they can invest in money market instruments, they can issue certificate of deposits. So, this is all about the banking system, but once the loans are given, there is no guarantee that all the customers or all the borrowers will pay back to the banks. That is the real problem. So, this non-performing assets looks at the defaulters, the persons who took loan. If it is term loan, they have to service the loan, they have to pay back the loan every month. If they are not able to service the loan for 3 months or 90 days, then that loan is treated as a non-performing asset. Asset is loan in the banking system. Deposits are called liabilities, loans are called assets. Non-performing asset, opposite of performing asset. Asset means a loan, performing asset means when customers are paying back regularly, it becomes performing asset. When customers are not able to pay back, that becomes a non-performing asset, which is known as NPA, right. There is little differentiation between gross NPAs and net NPAs. We need not go in detail into that, but the meaning of NPA is, as per the let down guidelines, if the borrowers fail to repay back to the bank, or if the borrowers fail to service the loan, servicing of the loan is nothing but paying back to the bank regularly as per the agreed terms and conditions. If the borrowers fail to pay back, then it is termed as non-performing asset. And if you go into the historical perspective, Committee on Financial System headed by M. Narasimham was constituted in the year 1991, and subsequently in the banking system, prudential guidelines, that means the guidelines whatever are being followed across the world are implemented, and this constitute income recognition, then asset classification, provisioning for advances. Income recognition, recognizing the income. Second is asset classification, that means each and every loan is classified depending on the risk factor. Third one is provisioning for advances. Certain money is to be kept as provisioning for advances. These are the prudential norms in the banking system. These are being followed. Let us leave this discussion here. Let us concentrate on what is the reason for non-performing assets. When bank is giving a loan to the customer, why he failed to pay back? Why he is not paying back? Why he is not servicing the loan? There are several reasons for it, and if you look into the reasons for it, the first and the foremost reason is macroeconomic situation in the country. When the country is not growing on the expected lines, when GDP is not growing, when there is no demand for goods, then probably industry may suffer. That's why they may not be able to pay back. That is because of macroeconomic situation in the country. Second is increased interest rates in the past. When the interest rates were high, probably customers might have borrowed, and now they are not able to service the loan. Third point is aggressive lending by banks during good times. Banks might have lent without looking at the credit worthiness of the customer, whether this customer will pay back to the bank or not. Without looking into credit worthiness, if banks are giving loans to the customers, then probably there is a reason for more non-performing assets. Fourth one is system based identification by commercial banks. Nowadays, because of advent of software, the system itself identifies once it crosses 90 days. So there is not hidden thing, people cannot hide nowadays. Once it crosses 90 days, automatically it will fall into the category of non-performing assets. Another important point is some of the sectors like infrastructure, power, sometimes they may fare badly because of several other problems like environmental clearances, forest clearances, land acquisition, and last but not the least is willful defaulting. The borrower has got ability to pay, but he is not paying back. That is the willful defaulting, right? These are the main reasons for gross non-performing assets, and here I would like to tell you what is exactly non-performing asset. There are several ways to look at it. I am taking 2-3 examples. When a person has taken vehicle loan or when a person has taken house loan, he is supposed to service the loan every month. If interest or principal or both is due for more than 90 days, if interest or principal or both is due for more than 90 days, then that is known as non-performing asset. In loose terms, I will tell you, you have taken house loan, you are required to pay back to the bank every month, but you fail to pay back. If 3 months passed, then your loan will become non-performing asset for bank. In case of crop loans, farmers take crop loans. Crop loans are given for short duration crops or long duration crops. And for short duration crops, if the payment is overdue for 2 crop seasons, and for long duration crops, if the payment is overdue for 1 crop season. Like that, there are several guidelines, and you have taken some cash credit or overdraft facility, and if that becomes out of order, when you are beyond the limit for more than 90 days, or if you are not paying back, all of you are well aware the facility of overdraft or cash credit is in the nature of revolving credit, but if you are not paying back for 90 days, your cash credit account or overdraft account becomes out of order. So when it becomes out of order, then that will also become non-performing asset, right? And please look into this. Non-performing asset is when you are not paying back for more than 90 days, we have already learnt, but beyond 90 days, there are 2 classifications. Beyond 90 days up to the first 12 months, that means less than or equal to first 12 months, that asset is called substandard asset. Once it crosses 90 days, it will become NPA. But from 90 days for the first 12 months, that is called substandard asset. And if it remains a substandard asset for 12 months, that means beyond that period, it becomes doubtful asset. First one is NPA. Once it crosses 90 days, it becomes NPA. And after becoming NPA, first 12 months, it will be categorized as substandard asset, and beyond 12 months period, it will be categorized as doubtful asset. And it will become a loss asset when loss has been identified by the bank or by internal or external auditors or by RBI during their inspections, right? So the categories, please don't forget this terminology. One is non-performing asset, second one is substandard asset, third one is doubtful asset, fourth one is loss asset. Please understand this terminology. I have illustrated through this line diagram. Please go through this PPT, right? So look into the next issue. The customer failed to pay back. Then what the banks will do? banks have got several options. But before going into the options available for banks, I would like to look at this issue. There may be genuine reason. There may not be genuine reason. When customer failed to pay back, there may be genuine reason. Some earthquake occurred. How can the customer pay back? Floods occurred. How the customer will pay back? Like that, there may be genuine reasons. Second one is, there is no genuine reason. So, what the banks can do under genuine reasons and what the banks can do when there is no genuine reason, I have listed the options. When there is genuine reason, I am talking about big loans here. When there is a genuine reason, when the loans are given by multiple banking accounts or some banks came together to give the loans, they are called multiple banking accounts. And when there is a genuine reason, then banks can undertake corporate debt restructuring or CDR. The loan can be rescheduled or restructured under corporate debt restructuring if there is genuine reason. Next, if there is no genuine reason but customer is not paying back, then what banks can do? There are 4 options for banks. First and the foremost is referring the matter to debt recovery tribunals. Second is by selling that loan to asset reconstruction companies. Third one is by filing winding up petitions in a court of law. Fourth one is by filing criminal cases against the willful defaulters. I am not talking about small loans. When you have taken gold loan, you are not paying back, then they will auction that gold. If you have taken some mortgage loan, if you are not paying back, then bank will auction your house. These are all small things. I am talking about big loans, what the banks will do, right? So, genuine reason, there is no genuine reason. So, when there is no genuine reason, banks have got 4 options. We are going to discuss briefly about these options. Look at the first one. When there is a genuine reason, some steel company has taken 1000 crores of loan, but no environmental clearance, no forest clearance. Under those circumstances, if the case is genuine, banks can restructure the loans. This is applicable when the outstanding exposure is 10 crores or more. And this is done through corporate debt restructuring, and this is applicable for loan accounts such as multiple banking accounts or syndicated loans only. And here 60% of the banks by number, 75% of the banks by value must agree to implement corporate debt restructuring. And here, once the loan is restructured, bank can extend the total loan period, bank can give a moratorium, that means holiday during which the borrower need not pay back to the bank. Then banks can give additional loan, banks can reduce interest rates. These are the options available under corporate debt restructuring for multiple banking accounts. That means when banks came together while granting the loans, for such accounts only this corporate debt restructuring is applicable, and there is a let down procedure for this. Banks have to follow that, and remaining things I have given in this PPT. And nowadays more and more cases are coming up for corporate debt restructuring. That's why banks are finding it difficult whether to look at it as a genuine case or not, right? So, look at the other case. When there is no genuine reason, then banks can approach debt recovery tribunals. These debt recovery tribunals were established as per the RDD-BFI Act of 1993. And banks or financial institutions can file an application with the debt recovery tribunal to recover dues from the persons or companies. But the problem here is, it is a long drawn procedure, lot of delay is taking place, and the success rate is around 20 to 30%. That's why it has not given satisfactory result to the banks, and in view of it, subsequently SARFAESI Act was brought. This is also applicable for banks and financial institutions. The SARFAESI Act, the full form you can see in this PPT, that is the Securitization and Reconstruction of Financial Assets and Enforcement of Security Interest Act, popularly known as the SARFAESI Act 2002. And it empowers banks and financial institutions to recover non-performing assets without the litigation of courts. And second important point is banks and financial institutions can sell these loans to asset reconstruction companies. These asset reconstruction companies will purchase these loans, and out of the agreed amount they will give 15% cash immediately, and for remaining 85% they will give security receipts. So, asset reconstruction companies are established subsequent to SARFAESI Act. This is the mechanism devised after the failure of debt recovery tribunals. Now the bad loan can be sold to asset reconstruction companies by the banks, and asset reconstruction companies subsequently will look at that loan, and banks are freed of those loans once they sell to asset reconstruction companies. And this SARFAESI Act is applicable to banks and financial institutions when the outstanding loan amount is 1 lakh and above, and RBI can issue licenses to asset reconstruction companies, and RCEL is the first asset reconstruction company established in this country. And it is too early to say whether asset reconstruction companies will give satisfactory result to the banks or not, because it is the new year phenomena, but undoubtedly we can say debt recovery tribunals is one of the biggest failures for recovering the loans. And the third option is also there for the banks, that is the filing of criminal cases. These criminal cases can be filed against the borrower if banks are able to prove that they are not paying back. It is a willful defaulting. How it will become willful defaulting? Somebody has taken 1000 crores of a loan for establishing a manufacturing company, and subsequently he diverted that money for purchasing land in real estate. It is willful defaulting. Under such circumstances, banks can file criminal cases against the willful defaulters, but it is not that easy for the banks to prove that it is a case of willful defaulting, and banks have rarely resorted to this practice. Other option is also there for the banks. They can file winding up petitions in the court of law under the Companies Act. Some company has taken the loan but they are not paying back, and under such circumstances banks can file winding up petitions in a court of law, and official liquidator will sell the assets of the company, and subsequently banks will be paid their dues. This is called winding up petitions in court of law, and these four options are available. I talked about big loans here. That means when the loans are given to corporates, when the loans are given to the companies, these are the options available. But when a small customer fails, then banks have got several options. Collateral security will be there. Banks will immediately auction that property, because nowadays banks are not resorting to unsecured loans, and the biggest problem is with the corporate sector, right? So these are the options available for banks. And before concluding this, I would like to tell you 2-3 points. One important point is banks have to analyze the loans before they become NPAs. As per the Reserve Bank of India instructions, banks have to analyze the loans before they become non-performing asset. Banks have to categorize the loans as special mention accounts, SMA 0, SMA 1, SMA 2 before they become NPAs. All of you are well aware, after 90 days they become NPAs. Before 90 days, banks have to make their efforts by classifying or categorizing them as SMA 0, SMA 1, SMA 2. SMA means special mention accounts, and for big loans given by consortium of banks, they have to establish joint lenders forum. Joint lenders forum is to be established before the loan becomes NPA, so as to devise methods that the loan should not go to NPA stage, right. And the other important aspect is Reserve Bank of India this year gave instructions with regard to the strategic debt restructuring mechanism, SDR mechanism. SDR mechanism basically looks at converting banks' debt into equity in the company. Banks have given loans to companies, companies are not paying back, and as per the strategic debt restructuring, the banks will assume the role of ownership in companies. We have to see how far these methods, these measures will be successful, only time can say, right. So, I have explained in detail about what is non-performing asset, what is corporate debt restructuring, what is meant by debt recovery tribunal, what is meant by SARFAESI Act, what is meant by asset reconstruction company. These things I discussed in detail, and my discussion on non-performing assets centered around corporate loans, because the biggest defaulters are corporate loans. I hope this lecture is clear with regard to non-performing assets. Please do join for 13th module. We are going to discuss about monetary policy of Reserve Bank of India. Have a nice day. Thank you.